Hey, everybody. Welcome to Multiplane Podcast. I'm Val.
I'm Ty.
And it's been a minute, but we're back. And Ty, you got to choose what today's podcast is about. And we're going to be talking about one of your and my daughter's favorite Disney animated movie, and that's Atlantis. But before we jump into that, so much Disney news that we're going to get into. The biggest one, if you did not see, and I believe we have posted it on our Facebook page, and if not, I'll get it up there in a minute. Ewan McGregor did an announcement a couple days ago that if you had it on your calendar that you wanted to watch Obi-Wan and you thought it was going to be May 25th, it is now going to be May 27th. So it's going to be on the Friday instead of the Wednesday, but instead of giving one episode, we're getting two. So
yes.
That's awesome. I want to know what just your brief thinking of Moon Knight is. And then I just want to say our buddy Mark is going to be on our show along with probably our movies that make us folks as soon as Moon Knight is over, and we're going to have a little Moon Knight round table. But just because I've already done my reviews in a couple places, and I gave it a B- so far. I've seen the first 4 episodes. But what are you thinking of the first episode so far?
First episode was really good. I had to kind of give a standby, commentary to my wife as we were watching it. I think that B- is going to go up to an A. If the right cameos happen and the right
I've
comes
seen
in.
4 episodes and there's only 6 episodes. So I don't know that it's going to go up to an A, but if I can get it to a solid B, B+, I'll be fine with that.
Okay.
I don't give out A's very often.
Yeah, so I'm more excited because he's part of my troop. Like he's part of my favorite team and whatnot. So I'm excited with
Go
what's
over
coming.
your favorite team again for everybody that's listening or watching for the first time.
The Midnight Suns is another Marvel team, kind of like a darker Avengers team. Has Blade, Daredevil, Punisher, Moon Knight, Doctor Strange. We actually have
all
a game
the
coming
wizards.
out too. All the wizards and dark boogeymen. Okay. I'm excited. I really wish we would have had a 2-episode opener, but
have you seen Morbius yet?
No. I wasn't when they pushed the January date, I lost all hope in it. I got so mad that I told my friends, I'm like, I don't even care anymore. Forget it. Like, I'll probably end up seeing it here soon, but it's not like.
Yeah, then I will post my review from What to See with Val on our Multiplane Podcast Facebook page, just so if you guys want to know my thoughts on that, then you guys can hear my thoughts on it. A lot of people are just ripping it apart. I didn't rip it apart. You know me. It's not really me to really rip something apart. But I didn't hate it. It was just fine. Like it wasn't anything special. But it does get me excited for the Sinister Six because I feel like since you've put that in my head, now with some of the things that happened in the 2 credit scenes, that's kind of what they're leaning for. And also the credit scenes are stupid, but kind of important, but stupid.
Yeah,
they're about as good. They're about as good as the Spider-Man credit scene with Venom. Just stupid. They're also, it's just, I don't know. But anyway, so no spoilers, but I gave just go watch that if you care. I'll put it up on our Facebook page. So let's get into, is there any other news you wanted to share?
If you're heading back to Disney, the meet and greets, you're going to be able to actually go up and hug your character soon. So
yep, you get to do the thing where you arm around and they get their arm around and you get the picture. It's not like you here and them there.
I think April 19th is our date.
Yeah.
That they're letting that happen again. So that's pretty cool. I really wish, some of my girls could have got pictures with the princesses, but hey,
they'll be back.
We'll be back. Yeah, I know. We're not like those people who go to Disneyland once in their life.
You're lucky. That's why. Like I know some people.
I'm lucky.
Yeah,
I know.
We're both very lucky. Yeah.
I say that in the spirit of I really enjoy the parks, and there are people who are like, I've gone once and that's enough for me.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
The kind of people I'm talking about.
Yeah, we don't usually hang out with those kind of people. Just kidding. We love you, but we're fanatics and we want to go all the time. So, but let's get into Atlantis. And I'm just going to let you kind of run this. I'm going to poke my head in every once in a while. I do want to say this. The last time I went to Disneyland and I took Sammy, which was a couple of weeks ago, she really is kind of upping her pin trading game, because she showed up and she's like, okay, we haven't pin traded in a long time. I was a different age the last time we were really pin trading at the park because it's been a couple of years, right?
Yeah.
And she met a lot of really, really cool people. I don't know if you saw the post
I
that
did.
we met, like this guy who is
I've
like
met the
one
same
of
dude.
the most famous. Yeah, he wants to be on the show. So we need to
Oh,
figure
hands
out.
down.
Yeah, he wants to be on the show. So we'll figure out when he's going to be on the show with us because I'm excited to talk about pins. But Sammy is on a few Facebook Disney pin trading groups, and she has been trading pins back and forth all over the place, and she was so excited. She sent me a couple days ago, she got this Atlantis pin that she's been trying to get, and I need to send it to you still. Yeah, so she's been doing a really good job at the online trading. If you can't make it to the park, the online trading groups are the way to go.
That's really cool. I love that we have a network like that now that we can do that kind
Yeah.
of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, Atlantis, the Lost Empire. We're gonna, age ourselves here. This came out in 2001. I was 10 years old.
I was older than 10. I don't even care. Like, age doesn't really bother me.
Well, so this movie was really cool because it's one of the last ones. There was about 3 or 4 movies. My movie experience growing up was not sitting in a theater. We had a drive-in. So that's what a lot of my movie experience was. And this was one of the last movies that I got to see at the drive-in theater. Me and my grandmother sitting in her convertible watching Atlantis was awesome.
Yeah.
This is one I feel like goes on that list of underrated, unappreciated animations.
Yeah, it really does kind of have like one of those cult followings because you
Mm-hmm.
don't, unless you really love it, you don't think of it right away. But then when it's brought back to you, you're like, oh yeah, I forgot how good this was. Unless it's one of your favorites, but it is considered now a Disney classic.
Oh, of course, and that's the animation on the reason that I gravitate to this story a lot. And I think Sammy, if she were here, could say the same thing. The story, the animation, just the style, the steampunk kind of reference to it, everything that's in this film works for me. And then the characters themselves, they have some really solid, fun characters that make up our main team, some of the backup characters. Of course, you have the talented Michael J. Fox.
Yeah, I can't believe. I mean, can we just go through the cast really quick? We have
Yeah.
Michael J. Fox, we have Cree Summer, we have Leonard Nimoy, we have James Garner, who I think in the history of Disney animated movies, his animated character matches him personally more than like any that I have seen in a long time. Florence Stanley, who is great, Jim Varney, who's just a character in himself. And then when you get into like awesome voiceover actors that we love, like Jim Cummings is
Yeah.
amazing, amazing. And that's just like a few of the characters. But I mean, when I rewatched this, and I rewatched it this morning as I was working, I just couldn't believe like the anime. It was back when, and I think we still kind of do this well, I don't have anything to do with the animation, but I think Disney still kind of does this. But I think when this movie was circulating, they really tried to match kind of up the character, the voice actor to the character more than
Yeah.
they do now and more than they used to do in the past. And so the characters of this specific animated movie, they really match the actor so well. It's so fun to watch if you know who is playing them.
Yeah. I'm trying to look at some of the pictures right now, actually. So who would you say your favorite character is? Do you have a favorite character for this movie?
Oh, it's so hard because
Give me a top 3 then.
because Milo is such a great character, and Michael J. Fox's Milo is one of the, I just want to say, like, authentic. It's hard when you're watching an animated movie to really feel like something is authentic, right? And I'm not taking that away from like any of the actors that do animated movies. Like we cry when we watch animated movies, right?
Hmm.
But I really love Milo, but I also have to say that James Garner playing the commander is so, I don't it's it makes me emotional because they get you so and fixated to him. You are behind him all the way. Like you want him to succeed. Not all of a sudden it's this flipperoo and you're mad. Like I get so mad
Well, and that's
like
the thing
when it
too.
flips.
And it's not even something that you can't realistically see. It's like, okay, yeah, they flip
It
around because they're a bunch of mercenaries.
right.
Spoilers, guys. If you haven't seen Atlantis, this is
We're
your
going
fault. Like, why
yeah,
are you
yeah.
listening? It's one of those things that like you can totally see, like, okay, yeah, they kind of have army grade equipment. These are just a bunch of mercenaries, and they're looking to,
Yeah.
plunder and steal a bunch of treasure from a historic site. Like, totally a thing that you can
But
see
they get you
happening.
so invested in him
Hmm.
that you're just like, "Oh."
He's like the cool uncle that you have. It
Yes,
turns out
yes.
to, somewhat be a bad guy,
Now we know why mom doesn't want us to hang out with him, right?
right? So, Commander, sorry. And then I wanted to just say Vinny and Mole.
Vinny and Mole are so much fun.
Like, I'm half tempted. I've been really contemplating dressing up as Mole for Fan X this year.
Okay, okay.
Like,
I can
walking
see
around with
that.
my aviator hat and my giant coat and, you know,
Yeah.
carrying around a tray of dirt or something.
Make it like edible. 'Cause
Edible
you're
dirt. Make it like
like
Oreos and brownies and
something
stuff.
like that. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, because that would be really, really cool.
These are the generals on the matchmaker. A linguist.
Yes,
Oh,
I feel like now you have to do that, and we'll do a little photo shoot.
okay. Yeah, Mole. I love Mole.
Yeah. I mean, the
How did
side
he?
characters, so
How
good.
did he get like? You don't want to know, Audrey. Don't tell him. You told me, and I didn't want you to. Now you know. Okay, Cookie too. Cookie's another.
Yeah, it's just so hard to choose. I think that's the one thing I really there's so many things I love about Atlantis, but one of the things is that at the time when they made this movie, I feel like um Disney Animation was kind of going through this like sophisticated stage of stories. And they were really challenging you as an audience, and that's usually as a child because there weren't a ton of adults that were watching Disney animated movies as much as I feel like they are now. You were watching them because you watched them with your kids, but I feel like more adults now we're watching them on our own, like we do it all the time, right?
Yeah,
Because we were growing up at this time, and so it has stuck with us. But they really thought, you know what, kids are smart, kids have brains, like, and it wasn't this dumbed down story. This is an intricate story for an animated movie.
crushed Oreos for dirt. Brian says, "Yeah, we'll do some
Yep.
crushed Oreos, some brownies, some other
Brian, bring
stuff."
your camera. He's a photographer. Make it happen, you guys.
Yes. Maybe
The
let's
thing
just do a
is
shoot
that he's
before
super
Comic-Con.
tall. You guys need to like match up like characters together.
Yeah, Brian, you want to come as Vinny? So yeah, let's go into the story a little bit. That's another thing that made this so fun. You have Atlantis, this mythical city that, is already kind of a fun little lore packed thing itself. And then you have this kid who, he's working in a very prestigious, I think it's the British Museum that he's opening at. Knows where to find the map to find this place. His grandfather was, this is kind of his grandfather's legacy too, that he wants to carry on. I can't stand the pack of, I call them museum rats. All the older guys that he's trying to like pitch his expedition to.
Right.
That scene where they're like Scooby doing it in the hallway, going to all the different doors. Oh man, I can't stand them.
Now I'm gonna think of Scooby Doo every time I watch that.
So then, yeah, he pitches his idea. They say, no, don't do it. Hey, stay here, fix our boiler. Then he heads home, finds a prowler in his home.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what her name is that plays the voice. Is it Claudia Christian Claudia Christian who plays
Helga?
Helga?
Yeah.
Helga's at his place. Says, "Hey, I have an employer who is interested in your expedition." Goes to Mr. Westmore's or Whitmore. That's what it is. Whitmore. Goes to the Whitmore place, which I loved how he walked in on this old dude doing yoga and then his robe drops in front of him. Awkward scene. Basically, he just, says, "Hey, I was your granddad's friend and I lost a bet and I'm here to see it paid in full." I think that's the best part. The story's here because he lost a bet.
Yeah.
And I really like how he said, "Yeah, well, we'll need this, 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 and this." And Whitmore's like, "Already got it, kid. Best of the best. Let's go." You resigned this morning. Here's your stuff. And then we really just get plunged into the deep side of this movie.
Yeah.
One of the fun things, oh man, seeing it's passing me right now, the Leviathan scene. We're getting like a 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea kind of feel. We're diving, we're going in. You're seeing all these different ships. The expedition is on its, stride. And then this thing called the Leviathan shows up. This is where the animation really starts getting me. First, the thing that caught my eye was the submarine and the style of it. Because this is, seriously, you can imagine Captain Nemo, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea going in this thing. But then the Leviathan itself almost looks mechanical. It's very organic, but then it has some mechanical elements to it. Shooting out lightning. So we have this attack. We lose most of the crew. Then we come to the entrance of Atlantis to where it's going to take them in through a subterranean space to get us to our main city. Some of these elements, and this is one that, I really wish with Disney doing all these different reboots, I feel like this is one of those movies that we really need to have in live action.
You do?
Absolutely.
I mean, I want it, but I haven't loved like the live action remakes.
All I'm saying is if you are going to put the money and try to resell me something, resell me something that has the backbone to do it.
Yeah. And I think we could, I think this movie, I keep saying we, like I'm going to make this movie. I think they could actually make this movie work with what is doing well at the box office right now and the things that we can now do with movies. I think this would be great. And the awesome part is that with the original animation, it's not like the stuff was too cartoony, you know what I mean?
No.
Like the machining in this is very realistic. Like you said, you have stuff that looks, a little steampunky, a little futuristic, but also very organic at the same time, which is really cool. And the coloring of this animated movie is so great because you've got this huge contrast between darks and then these bright colors, the bright reds, the bright blues, that really come in, which I love. I feel like there are some movies that I love that are Disney classics that came from the same time that I feel like when you watch them, that they came from this time. It doesn't hold up in the animation, but it holds up as a good movie. This you could show to a kid right now and he wouldn't know or she wouldn't know it was made in 2001.
No. Well, see, and I feel like we're jumping on this boat again, another kind of lost treasure planet. I feel like everyone who is a fan of Treasure Planet is also an Atlantis the Lost Empire fan because this was like released just before it, kind of warmed you up to the, different art styles that are going in here because there are a few different, you look at it and it borderlines, like Brian is saying, it's almost very 3D. We do have some really just high-end 2D animation. But then we head to some of the Disney animated films after that. They start tossing in the actual 3D animated stuff mixed with it. So this was a really good precursor to all those other ones that were coming out, like Treasure Planet. And if I could find a few others and go on and on about it. But that's like you're saying, the color scheme, the animation, things from this movie you could put into a live action really
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. Well, and as I was rewatching this morning, because I don't think I've seen this movie in at least 10 years, I would say. I
Really.
know Sammy has watched it and it's been on, but
But you haven't sat
I
down
haven't like
and
really sat down and paid attention to it. And as I'm watching it, I'm like, this kind of feels like, and then I start naming the movies that have come out after it, like the
Mhm.
live action movies. Like I'm getting some Avatar vibes. I'm getting so, like I keep going. I feel like it inspired movies that we have seen, like not in entirety. No, there's no blue people, but like there's an Avatar feel to this other world and these people that are having connections in this, how this works out, but just so many different things. It really works and it stays working.
And then we get to the scene where they actually find Atlantis, and they were like,
Yeah.
"Oh crap! We didn't think we're actually gonna find. We thought we'd find some broken pottery, some artifacts that we could easily
Broken
lift out of
pottery.
here."
What is that reality show where they go to the island and they never find anything on it?
Is it Survivor?
No,
No.
it's like an island where they are constantly looking for treasure and a guy like funds the whole thing and it's always like, "Oh, we think we're going to find something. Next episode, we've got some," and it never goes anywhere. And it's been like 6 seasons. It's like something Oak Island and I love it, but it's totally ridiculous. But that's I feel like when they got to that moment, they're like, "Oh crap, we found something." Like
Like,
we're
oh,
here,
there's
we
actually
found
something
it.
here. Um, the thing that I liked, I guess, the most, the animation was cool, but when you start getting into the design of the actual Atlantean, um, like their housing, their carvings, their weaponry, everything on it, just the whole style sucked me right in. And I'm like, oh man, this looks so stinking cool. I really wish, I had a ship that was shaped like a hammerhead shark that was carved out like this that I could just pump a crystal in and let's
Right?
go. Um, then yeah, they find Atlantis. We get the big, caught us off guard, didn't catch us off guard thing that like, well, we're gonna have to lift that crystal off you guys, and we're robbing you pretty much. So let's go, Your Majesty.
But
Tell
he's
us
just
where it's
like
at.
so nonchalant about it. Like you should have seen this coming, and I'm like, "Ooh."
That's the thing. Like it's something that's so played out so
Natural.
much in these,
Yeah.
discovery of the lost city, the lost treasure, the lost this artifact, that. And it seems like, oh, you got a really solid team, but then there's the one guy or the few guys that are like, no, we're just a bunch of mercenaries that got on this job with you guys. And hate to break it to you, we're going to have to take everything and leave you to
But
die.
Disney likes to get us to love mercenaries. Like they've got this like all these movies and stories with mercenaries or mercenary types. Like a pirate is basically a mercenary, like they want us to love the bad guy.
But I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't mad about it. And again, I was 10, so I didn't know much. But even coming back as an adult and rewatching this, because I will watch this all the time. Like
Yeah.
at least once or twice a year, I'll pull out and be like, hey, let's go watch Atlantis.
Yeah.
Or that's like Alice, my 5-year-old. We'll be scrolling through, things to watch, and she'll be like, "Oh, Dad, look, let's watch Atlantis." And I'm like, "Okay, I'll go make the popcorn. Let's go."
Twist my
So,
arm.
like,
What does
it's
she love about it when she's sitting down and watching it? Like what really grabs her that you've noticed?
she thinks that again, Vinny and Mole are hilarious. Just the way that kind of Mole sounds, his voice, his mannerisms, the way he kind of like,
Well, and
shuffles down in the dirt.
if you look at the picture of the actor Corey Burton who plays Mole,
Mm-hmm.
he looks like him. Like his face.
Yeah.
I wanna bring up his picture if I can. Like you keep talking because you know that this gets me every time, like trying
And
to.
then she also just really, again, all the Atlantean stuff, like being under the sea, this empire, the flying sharks and whales and different things that you can ride.
Oh, you're gonna love this little bit of trivia. This is gonna blow you away. Okay,
What's up?
I'm gonna share my screen because he is also the voice actor of someone that I think you are gonna be super excited about.
Really?
Yeah, but look at his face. Don't you kind of see like like they really did build the
The
face of
nose
the
and
mole?
everything,
Yeah, and
and
how like the eyes are, a little squinty. But yeah, so he's in the well, I mean, I wanted to say the Book of Boba Fett, but I mean, yeah. So yeah, the Book of Boba Fett, but also really the Mandalorian. We won't get into that, but that's really cool that he does the voice for both. Like I love how Disney they really like to keep people around. Like if you do really good at your job, you can like watch movies and animated movies and you'll probably hear a character that you love over and over again.
or same actor that's just really, really talented.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Um. Then yeah, they're like, hey, they take the crystal. The king's pretty much dying. They take Kita, um, who has kind of been enveloped by the power of the crystal that's keeping everything up.
Uh-huh.
And then you have the big gunfight, save the day, collect the crystal. One of the coolest scenes out of this movie that gets me amped up every time is when they bring the crystal back. The volcano that's by the city is going to erupt, and the Atlantean guardians of the city wake up. You see all of them kind of crumbling out of the fallen earth, stand up, clap their hands, and big old
Yeah.
force field goes up. I'm like, if that wasn't one of the best scenes of this whole movie, I don't know what is, because man,
And you're like, if I could see that in a
I
live
could see that in
action
a live
movie.
action. My life would be that much more complete.
Make it happen. Make it happen, Ty.
Oh, because yeah, I'm gonna make it happen. But no, really, this if Disney is gonna keep, investing money into itself, this needs to be one of the things, and I feel like it would do good at the box office. Regardless of what the animation did back in the day, myself included, you have a whole new generation to show this to. And you have everyone who, like you said, I feel like this has built up a pretty big cult following.
Yeah.
There's certain Disney movies now from when I was a kid that I loved as a kid, but now we have communities of them. Like another one, the other one that I wanted to talk about possibly sometime here down the road was Gargoyles. That's another one as a kid that started off like something, but now the cult following behind it is massive.
Yeah, I think we should do like a Saturday morning cartoon episode where we talk about a couple like gargoyles
Oh, I
and
could give you a whole
couple
episode of
others.
Gargoyles.
I know you could, but I'd be sitting here like this. Because I watched it when I was younger, but I
I
don't remember like a lot of.
I would make you just watch The Awakening, and then we could cover that.
Okay,
But
okay.
anyways, um, back when Disney had closed, like the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea ride,
Yeah,
and I hadn't known that they were going to turn into a Finding Nemo ride,
you were
I
hoping.
honestly would have loved to get an Atlantis ride. Where
I
the
was just
Finding
gonna
Nemo
ask you
ride.
that. I was gonna ask you, so if you could put Atlantis, a ride anywhere in Disneyland, like where would you put it and what would it be? So you were hoping it was gonna be that, or if you could build something from scratch, like what would it be?
If it was an overlay, it would go to the Finding Nemo ride. Because obviously you're diving in a submarine, you're going to find Atlantis. You could have some really cool stuff. From scratch, I think this would make a really cool dark ride.
Okay.
And it doesn't so much fit in our Tomorrowland,
Okay.
but if you went to Disneyland Paris, where everything is very
Oh,
Jules Verne inspired,
okay.
this would be a high ticket dark ride in their Tomorrowland.
Okay.
Because again, all their stuff is already, brass and steampunkish. So I think Disneyland Paris, if you guys, are even a slight chance anyone hears this, build
Build
an
it.
Atlantis, the Lost Empire dark ride, and they will come. Oh, really? It could be fun. Like if you look at
Yeah.
some of the different elements where, say, you have a scene where you roll up on Mole and he's in the digger, and you have just all these fun mechanical things coming out.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Oh, it'd be
I like
awesome.
that. I like that for sure. Where does this movie hit on like your top 10? Is it in your top 10?
Oh, absolutely.
So what's surrounding it in your top 10? And I know I didn't tell you that I was going to ask you this.
That's
Um,
fine.
but like what's
Um,
it sandwiched between?
Treasure Planet, I've already
And that's
mentioned.
below or above?
I'd say Treasure Planet's a little bit above
Oh, okay. Okay.
Atlantis, just because of some of the other elements that are in it and characters, and it's the same old Treasure Island story kind of, but there's things in it that just notch it up a little bit more than Atlantis.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Atlantis is in between Treasure Planet and, oh man, you know what? I'd have to sit and actually really think about what comes, because I say Atlantis maybe sits at like seat number 5.
Wow. Really?
I think it's
Okay.
right dead
Okay.
center. It's one of those things, like I said, I can come to my TV any day and be like, it pops up on my, things you should view, things you recently watched because you watched
Watch it
this, or
again. Yeah.
I have no problems with turning Atlantis on again and again. So it's probably number 5 in my top 10. It's right there in the middle.
What did you think about the precursor with Milo's story that came after?
Oh, so like Atlantis, the
Some
Milo's Return.
Yeah,
Is
something like
that what it
that.
was?
I never watched it.
Oh man, it was garbage.
And what they didn't even put it in theaters, right? It was
No, it
just
was a
straight
straight
to
to
video.
VHS.
Yeah.
The It was a cash grab,
Yeah.
like a few of the other Disney ones that went
It's kind of
straight
like the
from.
Jafar movie after
But
Aladdin.
yeah, but Jafar,
It
like,
was so good though, right? Like it had bad moments. It definitely wasn't a
it
a
had
theater
capability to
release.
be like.
It wasn't a theater release, but it was definitely like a made for Disney movie release, I think.
Well, that's like the Return of Jafar and then the King of Thieves, the third one.
Yeah.
Those both, I think, had problems, but if you would have worked out on them a little bit more.
King of Thieves was kind of stupid.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was.
What? Fight me.
I will. This won't be the first time.
No, so Milo's Return, just loads of problems. It pretty much was an anthology that was based off Atlantis. First problem is, you have one of our guests on a past show, Thomas Estrada, kind of explained this. When you have the main film, right? It's good, it's drawn, it has a lot of hours and people put into it. On these next ones that are kind of like a straight to VHS or straight to home owning, like the animation is faster. There's
Right.
less drawings per scene, less people putting on it because they want to save money and make the most out of the direct to home sale. That was the problem with this. It's like you absolutely lost all of the beautiful artwork that we got in the original. It's gone.
So, do you think that if they would have done it in this day and age, now that a lot of things are being made just to go to Disney Plus and they're still making them pretty much up to par, do you think it would have been better?
I need a better story.
Okay, but do you think the animation would have been better?
Yeah.
Because I mean, like Luca was amazing animation.
Yeah. No, now that we have the sort, like, things can still be worked on well and go straight to Disney Plus, I think having that resource has could make any follow-up animation better.
Okay. Well, I don't think they need to make another one unless they do live action. I think the live
That's
action, you've sold me on it. I definitely think that we all need to do like a petition or something and have them do a live action. But yeah, I just I still can't pick my favorite character because they just all have a point. Like in some animated movies, some characters are just there so that the kids are like, "Oh, that's funny," or "Oh, that's cute." But I feel like all of the side characters in this movie have a purpose. So I
Well,
can't
it's even like in the second movie, they try to do a cash grab with making a lava dog from Atlantis, and I'm like, oh my gosh,
Lava
guys,
dog.
we don't need a cute sidekick. We don't need this. You don't need to collect relics from Atlantis that could be, endangering the surface world. But
Yeah.
Yeah, Cookie. Brian just brought it up. Yeah, Cookie. Cookie.
Cook.
Cook.
Cookie.
The men need their 5 basic food groups. I got your 5 basic food groups: beans, bacon, whiskey, and lard.
Oh my gosh, I think I know Cook in real life.
Really?
I'm not gonna say who, but I'm pretty sure I know Cook. Um, all right, so we
What's your
definitely
grade for this?
my grade for this is a solid B. Like
Yeah.
this is that movie that again, like you said, if somebody says that they haven't seen it, I'm like, you need to watch it at least once.
Yeah.
Like you need to see it. It's totally worth it. Like make the time to do it. I don't care if you have kids or you don't have kids. Like I definitely think that it's at least a one-time watch for everyone. And I just think again, it's like a sophisticated, smart story, and it doesn't dumb anything down because they know kids are going to watch it, and it's beautiful to watch. I mean, it's a solid B for me, maybe even a B plus if I thought about it a little bit more. You know, it's not in my top 10, but that doesn't mean that it's not great. It's still a great, it holds up. I love movies that hold up, especially animated movies, because it's so easy to tell, you know, how old
What
animated movies
generation
are.
they were made
Yeah.
in? Yeah.
And I just really think this was, like you said, kind of a jewel of its time that kind of gets lost every once in a while. The people that love it really love it. The people that forget about it love it when you bring it up again. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
it's definitely solid B, maybe even B plus for me. I'm assuming for you it's an A.
I'm gonna give it an A minus. I mean,
Okay.
yes, it is in my top
Okay.
10, but A minus.
Okay. Okay. We want to know what your thoughts are. Do you love this movie? Have you seen it? Have your kids seen it? Do you think Atlantis should be made into a live action movie? Let us know. You can comment right here on our YouTube or Facebook video. Yeah, at any time, just let us know. You can also email us at multiplanepodcast@gmail.com. Have you watched Better Nate Than Ever with your girls yet?
Not yet.
Okay, it is a big B plus for me. It
Yeah.
was so much fun, and I think I may have gotten in trouble with some of my Disney friends because I know a lot of people that were in High School Musical, but I said it was better than High School Musical on Good Things Utah.
Is it anything like High School Musical?
No.
Okay.
But it's like made for the same audience. Like if Sammy was in her tweens or early teens, this would have totally been what we were watching on Friday night when it premiered, right? And we would have been watching it over and over. I watched it by myself and I was like, I have to review this. I reviewed it a couple weeks ago and I turned it on and I just had so much fun. It's just a fun movie. Lisa Kudrow plays the aunt of Nate, and she lives in New York, and she's been trying to be a Broadway star forever, but just hasn't gotten her break yet. And she's just such a great actress. But the kid that plays Nate is so fun, and there's just fun moments. Like he really wants to be on Broadway, and he finds out his best friend tells him that there is an audition for Lilo and Stitch, the musical on Broadway. And I was like, what? So he gets on a bus with his best friend, not telling anyone in his family that he is heading to New York. He gets there. And of course, if you're a kid and you're auditioning for anything, you have to have an adult there. His aunt happens to be auditioning for something else in the same building. He kind of makes it all happen. He does this whole like musical number in Times Square. It's kind of this fun movie for me. I just really thought it was super fun and just silly, but in a good
Okay.
way. Yeah, in a good way. I don't think you'll watch it over and over, but I think you and your kids and your wife will watch it like once and be like, that was fun. That was cute. And
Okay.
it's not extra. It's just there waiting for you.
Okay. I'll have to give it a go then.
I think the thing that like High School Musical was a lot of fun, but I do think that High School Musical, like you can tell that it wasn't made right now, right? It doesn't age well, like with the hairdos and like all the things that are going on. And I do think at some points of High School Musical, it does take itself a little too seriously for what it is. this movie does not take itself seriously at all. But it's not annoyingly funny. It's just fun.
Okay.
Have you watched the new Oh my gosh, it's the new version with all the kids, where the families come together with all the kids, and they've made this
Oh, Cheaper
movie.
by the Dozen.
Have you watched the new Cheaper by the Dozen?
No, and I'm gonna get hate mail for this because I couldn't really stand the old Cheaper by the Dozen.
I think it's better than the
Really?
old one. I do.
'Cause
I do. I had to watch, so I watched Cheaper by the Dozen, Better Nate Than Ever, and Turning Red. I watched them all in the same day, and I'm like, this day's gonna suck, because I just wasn't really looking forward to any of them, and I really enjoyed all of them, but I think I liked Better Nate that I liked that better than the other two. I liked Turning Red. I know you didn't care for that movie. So we'll probably cover it at some point, but we'll bring somebody on as well. But yeah, I mean, I didn't think it was horrible. I think your girls would probably think it's fun.
we'll see. And Autumn loves Cheaper by the Dozen.
Yeah, I think Autumn will like it.
Like she will repeatedly watch it throughout the year. She loves Cheaper by the Dozen.
Yeah,
and it's one that I'm always like, and she's like, I hate you.
This is the thing. Zach Braff is in it, and I'm like, okay, that could go one of two ways. Like, it's either going to be great or it's either going to be like, but I really like what they do with his story. And maybe it's because it's something I'm going through right now with like a stepdad situation and a daughter and like trying to like find the even ground. But I do think that they updated the story enough to be what's happening right now that I do think it was worth a remake to really make it more of what's going on today, more relatable, more inclusive with the times. But I had fun with it. So yeah, I gave it a solid B.
Cool. Lots of good stuff coming because May 27th can't get here any faster.
May 27th. So we'll talk about that offline on how maybe you can watch that with me so we can review it together. But there is more stuff coming up. We will be back next week. What do you want to talk about next week?
I'll let you pick.
Okay, I'm going to pick for next week. I don't know what I'm going to pick yet, but I will make sure that I post it on our Facebook page. And hopefully we're going to have a new opener by next week. It depends on how much time I have. I will also be traveling over the next few shows. So it'll be Val from wherever I'm at the moment, and Ty will still be in the same room, but that's okay. So let us know what you think of the show. What should we cover? I know Brian said we should cover
Treasure
Better
Planet
Better Off
Better Off
Dead. Is Better Off Dead a Disney?
Was it?
Is it in the Disney family now? I don't know. Like, there's so many things. If it's on now, this is the thing. If it's on Disney Plus now, we can pretty much cover it. So there could be. Is it Better Off Dead? Anyway, so if there's a movie that you want us to cover or something about the parks that you would like to cover, I know it's an 80s movie, Brian, but is it Disney? Because this is a Disney podcast, everything in the Disney envelope. So if it is, then maybe we'll add it to our circulation. If there's something else that you want us to talk about, let us know. Again, please like and subscribe our YouTube channel. We need all the subscribers that we can get. And please share things and keep posted to our Facebook page because that's where we chat the most. Thank you so much for tuning in. Did you find an answer to that, Ty?
I don't think it's on
I
Disney
don't think
Plus.
it is. So we'll have to talk about it over on What to See with Val, and maybe I'll have Ty over there. So thanks, you guys. Have a great week. We want to know what you thought about all these Disney movies. Go ahead and comment right in the comments section. Have a good week, everybody.